Yes, we are live. Welcome back, my dear friends. Welcome to another amazing episode of Zero Point Healing Show. This is episode number 39. We are progressing very quickly. And in this show, we are going to discuss about discovering discovering how to do the soul integration and self-acceptance. And we are going to discuss this through life between lives regression. And this is the first time we are discussing about life between lives. And if this is your first time hearing about it, there's so much information, as well as we have a beautiful healing meditation towards the end. So you can get to experience just a sample version that we are presenting to you today. So please stay tuned until the end. Before I move on to my guest here, I am going to give you a short intro about me. I'm Vishnupriya, and I am a healer myself with certified in multiple different healing modalities. And Zero Point Healing is a platform that I've put together. It is a web directory of healers and therapists and facilitators. And I've put together this kind of platform in a way to, first off, to bring all the healers and facilitators and therapists together in one platform. It's about uniting all of them as the first goal. And the second goal, of course, is to help the clients or the people who are looking for solutions for their problems, where they can come in and search for which healer, which healing modality that is going to help them with the specific problem that they are experiencing. So that's what Zero Point Healing is all about. And if you are a healer or therapist or facilitator yourself, I would love to have you registered on zeropointhealing.com. You can visit the website. Registration is free. And if you're interested in doing this kind of an interview with me, you are most welcome. You can just contact me about that as well. All right, with that being said, I'm moving on to my guest here. Welcome, Leon. Thank you so much for being with me today in the show. And wow, I was personally waiting for this session here to discuss about life between lives. It's gonna be a real fun conversation for me. So please tell us about you and tell us how you entered into this spiritual world of healing.
Oh, wow. Big question. For me, it started at a very young age because I suppose I just felt it was natural to be so sensitive to the world of spirit. But as it turned out, I was naturally clairvoyant, and my comfort and understanding of the spirit world wasn't shared by everybody else around me or the people that I met. So as I grew up, I quickly realized that I couldn't share this comfort with people because it wasn't what other people were feeling comfortable about. And that really is the foundation of really what, as I got older, springboarded me into my spiritual journey, because I wanted to understand fully what the spirit realm was about and how we could better understand the spirit realm on a 3D human level, as it were. So I got involved with spiritualism and mediumship, which was a very interesting journey. But for me, still, not all the pieces quite fitted together. And as I did my own research and investigation, I came across Michael Newton's work and Life Between Lives and various other therapists in the field. And this really resonated with me. So I decided to turn all my attention to studying the subject, and I wanted to be a Life Between Lives therapist. And that was my main goal. But to do the training in that field, I had to do lots of other training first. So there was the hypnosis and the regression work, which only once I did the training for did I realize how amazing regression therapy was and how much healing could come from it. So that really, and through my training, realizing how much healing could come from that from the clients that I was working with, that really got me into this modality of being a therapist, really. And that really resonated with me and felt right to me. And then once I got into doing the Life Between Lives work, realizing how not only is it an amazing journey for seekers, but it's also, it's like therapy, but you wouldn't really call it therapy, but it really is so therapeutic because you learn so much about yourself as a soul. And, you know, I think one of the big things I notice about it is people get to a point of no longer being a victim of their circumstance because they get the inside information on their own soul's journey, that they then realize that their circumstance were largely chosen by themselves to help them grow as a soul. And Life Between Lives really uncovers the truth of that for people on a very deep level. And for me, I find it so beautiful. It really resonates with me, and I get so excited about it. I'm so passionate about it. I want to share it with the world. Obviously, that's not always straightforward and easy. So any opportunity to share what I understand in my journey really makes me happy.
That's so beautiful. And being that kind of clairvoyant from very young age would have put you into a lot of trouble with the 3D
Yes.
world.
Yeah, it did. And as a youth, I very much shut it down because I found it was alienating me from my peers, as it were. So I very much suppressed it for much of my youth until I became older and I really was able to embrace it and learn about it and open it up. Really. Yeah.
Yes, and no wonder why you are sitting here as a Life Between Life therapist at this time. So going back to our title, Discovering the Healing Journey of Soul Integration and Self-Acceptance. So tell us a little bit about what soul integration is and why is self-acceptance important and how Life Between Life session helps us do all of that.
Okay, so it would seem quite prevalent that a lack of self-acceptance within people is what holds a lot of people back. You know, there's a lack of self-love, I suppose you could say. Not that many people can look at themselves in the mirror and say, I love you, with an authentic feeling. There's usually this, oh, I don't know. And there's this hiding away from all of that. And I would go as far as to say that's a lot about lack of self-acceptance. And this self-acceptance can be largely rooted in childhood and the experiences we have through our family, relations and school, and to a large degree our work and colleagues, and that kind of can be very compounded. And the integration of the soul integration is really understanding our journey as a soul from our soul's perspective, from our pre-birth understanding. So to put that into more context, I suppose if you as a soul was trying to learn about confidence, and confidence was something that maybe you was trying to understand and integrate in for many lives, you wouldn't really choose a childhood and a family life that would instill confidence in you and give you the attachments that you need, because then you wouldn't have the opportunity to learn about confidence from the way you need to learn, because you wouldn't be able to grow and achieve all those brave things that you overcome in a brave way to get to that point of confidence. So the soul integration aspect of it is to realize why, as a soul, we have aligned ourselves with the difficulties in our current life and what value that has to us, so that we can then begin to embrace those difficulties, realizing that those difficulties are important learning opportunities for us as individuals. And when this is learned and understood on a deep hypnotic level, this is something that becomes very integrated into the deeper mind. I mean, you could listen to me talk about this now and you think, wow, that's very interesting. I could take that on. I'd really like to embrace that. But this is on the more conscious level. And though it's useful, it doesn't necessarily become knee-jerk reactions to situations of life. When someone is in deep trance, especially with the deep trance of life between lives, and they learn these aspects about themselves as a soul, it instantly becomes part of their, it instantly becomes integrated to who they are, so that then their knee-jerk reactions to situations are changed. They no longer feel that they're a victim of their circumstance. They are more rising to the occasion of realizing that, okay, the sooner I can learn how to overcome the situation, the sooner I can move on and move away from this pain that I'm suffering because of it. So that's what I mean by soul integration, really. And obviously with that is a lot of self-acceptance. And from that baseline outgrows from that a lot of other things, and a lot of changes can come forward from somebody's life. And I see this pattern with a lot of my clients, and it's not always in the same way, but because it's individual to each person, or each soul, should I say. But this is a pattern I see occurring quite a lot as a powerful piece of their own puzzle, as it were, you know.
Yes, and I think I would like to reiterate some of those, some of the things that you said, and maybe we should have given a small intro about, for people who don't even know about life between lives, or what we are, or how humans on earth exist, or any of that. Spiritual awakening is what we call it. So just to reiterate, before we are born, we have this kind of maybe a plan or a schedule with, all right, so I'm choosing to learn these lessons in this particular birth. And these are the type of challenges that I'm going to take up so that I can learn these lessons. And what else would you like to add on to it? Of course, you will have better points there.
So, a life between life session really gives someone the insight to that, and it really puts it into perspective for them on a human level. So, although the sessions are not the same, there is a great similarity of how a session unfolds. So different people will perceive the energy of the light realms or the spirit realms in different ways. So by going through a past life and then going through the death of a past life, and without the interruption of the normal therapy modalities that are used to help transform what has been experienced in that life from a therapeutic point of view, I allow them to, and encourage them to continue on through into the light, so that they are able to meet with the loved ones, which would be their loved ones from that past life that's just been experienced, and their spirit guide. And that is usually how it unfolds at the very beginning. There is a lot of this leaving the body and going to the light. There can be a bit of a variation on a theme, but it's generally, this is the structure of how it all flows. And so there's this reunion with those souls, and there is this letting go and shedding the human ego. And there's often a lot of healing that goes on to heal the energies so that they can become a higher vibration and enter the spirit realms. Then there is this interview, if you like, or a debriefing with the spirit guide. Sometimes this involves some of the other souls that they meet, but generally it's with the spirit guide. And this can happen a bit like a conversation we're having now. Sometimes it could be perceived that they're sitting with this spirit guide at a table having a cup of coffee in a coffee shop. Sometimes it's just colored lights, but generally it's this debriefing, and usually it's about what happened in that past life and how well they did, and whether, what was learnt from it, what challenges they were able to overcome. And there's no judgment. It's not like you did it wrong. It's more of, wow, so you didn't quite manage to finish that. And there's this realization that, okay, so there's going to be a continuation of a need to learn around this subject. So this becomes something that they will continue to learn in future lives. But it's a very beautiful, soft kind of, okay, it's okay that I messed up. it's okay. It's just, I'm just in this learning process. Often it's a very beautiful bond with this. This is their main spirit guide that would be with them for various, for many lives. For many lives, not necessarily all their lives, but while they're working on maybe on certain subjects, they will be with this spirit guide. And then often what follows from that is this reconnection with their soul group. So there are the souls, their soul family, as some might call it. So this soul family would be the souls that one reincarnates with over many lives. And they will play different roles. Sometimes it will be a mother, sometimes it will be a sibling, sometimes the relationship would be a co-worker and a boss or a friend. So as souls, when we reincarnate, we change roles, but our lives are often involving those members of our soul group. And our soul group is working on similar things to ourselves. We might have individual things we're working on as a soul, but often there's a theme. And so our soul group member, our soul families have similar themes, and they're usually a similar level of development as souls. When I say development, you say, people might say old soul or young soul, but I kind of tend to see it more as a more experienced soul with earth lives. So the more earth lives we live, the more we understand how to work through the human emotions and learn from that, the more experienced we become. So that would be more classed as an old soul, but of course a soul doesn't have an age. And that takes me in quite nicely to the next part that often people would naturally flow into, is the meeting, which is a very beautiful, very special part, is the meeting with the Council of Elders or the beings of light. People call them different names. And they're able, these beings often play a big part in the planning for the next lives and a deeper discussion about how they're doing as a soul and the difficulties they're having. And again, this is a non-judging sort of conversation, and it really opens it all out. And within this part of the session, people are able to really to gain deeper understandings about their journey. They're able to really drop into different aspects of past lives and out again, because they're in very deep trance in these sessions. And because in this spirit realm, we are working in now time as opposed to linear time as we would be in our current life and in past lives generally. There is, in our current life, to illustrate that, there is past, present and future. There is this arrow of time. There is everything deteriorates over time, as it were. In the spirit realm, there is now time. And because of the now time, we're able to then move into now time, and it goes from a memory of being in the spirit realm in between lives to actually being in the spirit realm and actively asking questions to these wise beings. So prior to a session, I will encourage my clients to write down as many questions as they'd like about their life, about where they're going, their purpose in life, whatever's important to them, whether it's finances, whether it's their spiritual healing, whatever it is. Sometimes it's 4 questions, sometimes it's pages of stuff, depending, but that's fine. And the questions that aren't naturally answered by the experience as they go through life between lives, then I can prompt my clients to ask those questions from these guides. These questions may be answered, again, through words, through telepathic link, connection, however it works for them. And if the questions aren't meant to be answered because it would interfere with what they're still working on in their life, they won't be answered, which is fine. But often the questions do get answered in meaningful ways. And interestingly, sometimes clients will channel these guides, which is very beautiful. And I feel honored to be part of these sessions because their guides sometimes will just be channeling through them. And then I'm able to have the conversation directly with the guide, ask the questions, and then there's this two-way conversation. So the process speeds up quite a lot because, which is great advantage because these sessions can be very long. They're usually 4 hours long, sometimes 6 hours long. I have done sessions. I did do one session, it was 8 hours long, and I couldn't even believe I did it. And when someone's in deep trance, I'm in a deep trance, and we do the work, and time just flies by. It's an incredible experience from that point of view. But usually a session is 4 hours long, and so not always are we able to go to all the stops because sometimes one stop in particular may be of most importance to that client. So a lot of work is done. So we're not able to visit all the known parts of the life or the expected parts of the life between lives. But sometimes it's like a textbook flow. It goes through. So usually from the a meeting with the Council of Elders, and they may go to halls of learning and understand what they're learning as a soul. They may go to like what might be termed as the Akashic Records or a library and look into who they are as a soul in that way. And then towards the end of the session, as it starts to go down the other way, they start to work down towards their incarnation, their understanding of the life to come, which would be their current life. So there would be the body selection area, which for some might be just, oh yeah, I chose that body and it's no big deal. And then for some, there's some really big realizations. And this can also be, for some people, a valuable understanding of self-acceptance. Some people don't have a choice, and some people have many choices. Usually there's about 2 or 3. And this can be very interesting when people start to sort of look at the bodies, and they often can see what that body may offer them as a soul to learn from, what its strengths are and what its weaknesses are. And this can be very interesting. People say, well, this body I think is going to be a bit needy and I don't think it's going to really work for me. But this body, no, this body, it's too beautiful and it's going to get so much attention and it's going to really distract me from the work I want to do, And then, but this body, it's a bit quirky and it has this problem and that problem. And I can see how that's going to challenge me. I can see how that's really going to serve me. So you get these understandings about the shortcomings of a body, and maybe how it links in with the family that you're going to join. And all of these beautiful things are dovetailed into that person's journey. So that from that, there becomes quite a lot of self-acceptance about the body, which can be very important. Then there is the disembarkation or the leaving of the spirit realm. So this is sort of, as opposed to when our bodies die and we leave our bodies and go into the light, we're going back down that tunnel to join with the baby in the womb. And this often seems to be around 3-4 months' time. It's rare that it's earlier than that. It's as if there can't really be a full connection until the body has formed more. And then there is this, sometimes there's an awareness of difficulties connecting with the body, or maybe they connect with the body very well. There can be these beautiful understandings there at that point of the mother and father, and why the mother and father will serve them, the qualities that they bring, as well as the difficulties and parenting bring. And for some people, this can be a very, very deeply important understanding about maybe forgiving their parents, because when they realize that parent has certain issues and they come from their childhood and it's not really, they're no one's fault, it's just circumstance, but that issue is going to serve them because it's going to cause them maybe to feel disconnected, or they're going to feel a lack of love because maybe it's learning how to love might be a big part of their journey. The variations on this theme obviously can be endless, but ultimately it's gaining the understandings of how all these difficulties and all these challenges, as well as all these gifts and abilities, are not random. So then this can be something that someone takes on a very deep level, that when they come back into their now body, into their now life, the difficulties they've had and the people that have challenged them through their lives, all of a sudden there's an ease in authentic forgiveness. You can decide to forgive everyone in your life because you've learned or heard that it's really good, but if it's not authentic, it's not really helpful because you're just in denial. The body knows that there's something happened that was wrong, and if you don't acknowledge that, it will come out in your body in some other way, in some illness. So authentic forgiveness, I would say, it is really, really powerful and really important, but it's not just about forgiveness. And these understandings, this naturally comes for people. It's not a case of trying to encouraging it. It just naturally falls into place. So as I was saying before, the life between lives isn't therapy in its traditional sense that you're trying to get people to go through and work through things. It kind of is a natural unfolding as someone gains that deeper understanding of who they are as a soul. Wow, that was a long answer to your question. I hope that kind of answered it
Yes,
for
and
you.
I didn't want to interrupt you because it's this beautiful journey, and
Yeah.
I've personally done life between life sessions for a few of my clients, but I myself personally I haven't experienced it. So I was like, yeah, maybe it's time for me to go ahead and do it as
Oh,
you were
definitely.
explaining it. I was like, wow, I would like to know why I chose this body.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of awareness, there's a lot of, and again, beautifully you explained how this journey actually helps us get all of that self-love and self-acceptance and forgiveness, which with our conscious mind, how much ever we try, they still blocks. But going through this kind of experience, it magically shifts our perception about life altogether. It's like just jumping a quantum jump to another totally a new life, I would say. That's beautiful. We are running out of time, so we will get started with the healing meditation that you have for us.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Yes, so he's gonna do a short. I do not know how you want to explain that. Maybe I'll let
Well,
you do
I would
that.
like to do a short guided, hypnotic guided meditation. So some of you that listen to this, I would recommend closing your eyes and just finding a center in your body. Some people will find a stronger connection than others, because some people, it's very much easier to go into trance than others. But I'd say just use your imagination and just allow and just follow the journey. So shall I begin with that?
Yes, you can get started now.
Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes and just become aware of your breathing, and maybe just become aware of the natural rhythm of your breath and how your body moves. And I'd like to begin with you to imagine a beautiful column of light shining down upon your head from source. And this light will relax you, relax your muscles. And of course, with a relaxed muscle body, you can feel no anxiety or tension. So as this healing light slowly works its way down your forehead, eyebrows, you can just allow that relaxation to slowly work its way down your face, relaxing your eyes and the tiny little muscles around your eyes. And sometimes we hold tension in the jaw, so you can relax the jaw muscles, your tongue and mouth, and really just allow all the muscles of your face to soften and smooth. As you become more and more relaxed, this healing light continues to flow down into your neck, and it widens and spreads through your shoulders. And it flows down your arms, relaxing the joints and tendons and muscles as it goes down your forearms, to your wrists and hands, and all the way to the tips of your fingers. And you can allow any tension now to flow out through the palms of your hands. Just imagine tension flowing away from you, however that works for you. And you can be aware of the natural rhythm of your breathing, your breath, as you relax your chest and lungs. It's beginning to go deeper and deeper into this experience as that healing light continues to flow down into your body, relaxing your spine, your heart, and your tummy, all the way down into your hips and pelvis, and continuing to flow down your legs, relaxing your muscles. You may even be aware of tension in your body, anywhere in your body, and just make that decision to relax those muscles as you go deeper now, deeper and deeper down, as that healing energy of light flows down your legs, down into your ankles, into your feet, and out through your feet. You can allow that healing energy now to flow through your body, all the way through your body, from your head and down, out of your feet and down into the earth, just letting go of any tension, giving you the opportunity to let go of anything that serves you no longer. And you may be aware of that gentle tingling sensation in the soles of your feet as that healing light completes the process. Just be aware now of that gentle healing sensation in the soles of your feet. And I'd like you to use that beautiful imagination of yours and just imagine that you are wandering along a pathway lined with trees, a pathway leading to a healing garden, part of your own inner landscape. And maybe this pathway is paved or gravel, maybe it's earth or grass. However you perceive that pathway is fine. Just be aware of yourself wandering along that path. You can see it and experience it any way that's right for you. As you continue to effortlessly wander towards the healing garden, you can imagine in your mind's eye how you would like that healing garden to be, recognizing that this is part of your own inner landscape and you can shape that garden however you wish, maybe catching glimpses of the garden in between the trees. And now, the count of 3, entering the garden. 1, 2, 3, wandering now into that garden. Grassy areas. Be aware of those tall, mature trees. And finding a place where you can settle down and feel relaxed. This is a safe place. This is a place where you can do your own personal healing and connection with your loved ones and spirit and guides. And I'd like you to be aware of placing a dome of protection around this space, a dome that forms a sphere that shields and protects your safe space, creating a boundary that allows energy to flow in and out that is appropriate for you. And we are now going to invite a mist. Be aware of the mist now, building up around you. And in a moment, I'm going to count to 3. And on the count of 3, you'll be aware of the presence of your own spirit guide. As I reach the count of 3, you'll become aware. And 1, being aware of that mist all around you now. Comforting, relaxing mist. 2, being aware of the mist moving. Maybe beginning to become aware of the presence of your guide. And 3, the mist begins to clear now, and in your own time, allow yourself to become more and more aware of your own spirit guide. Maybe you see, maybe you just sense. Just be aware of from which direction your spirit guide approaches, which side. Just feel that presence. And recognizing how our spirit guides completely respect our free will. I would like you to invite your spirit guide to place a hand upon your shoulder now. And invite your spirit guide now to influence your own imagination. And on the count of 3, you will imagine how your spirit guide looks. 1, 2, 3. Imagine How does your spirit guide look? Maybe it's energy form, animal form, human form. Just notice the details. Just notice the feelings. And while you are there with this connection with your spirit guide, ask your spirit guide, what is the one piece of advice your spirit guide has for you at this time? Now just be quiet and allow that message to flow to you. Okay. And just accepting that as a picture, a thought, or words, and thanking your spirit guide, and recognizing how your spirit guide's only ever a thought away, and just thinking of your spirit guide will draw them close to you. In a moment, I will count to 3, and you'll have your eyes open, feeling relaxed, calm, and centered. Thanking your spirit guide. 1, moving your toes, and 2, moving your fingers, coming back to conscious awareness. 3, opening your eyes, feeling centered and relaxed. Hello.
Wow.
I think I managed in 10 minutes.
Yeah, he had to shorten it as much as possible to fit it into 10 minutes. But that was just a primer. Wow, but that itself really took me. I was able to see my spirit guides. I also received the message. It was a short and cute message. Just relax and enjoy life. Everything is going to fall in place.
Oh, brilliant. Something I would love to add about this is, for those of you that were able to connect to your spirit guide and see, or however you connected, you can use that connection or that perception as an anchor, because with that awareness, that allows you to then focus on your guide in however you've perceived them, and which gives you that stronger connection to reconnect with them in the future. And I would recommend for anybody to build a relationship with their guide, because it's a really helpful friend to have around and know that they're around. Yeah?
Yes, and they are so helpful. It just, we have to ask for help. And the life changes once we get started asking them, "I just help me get this done," and it is done. Thank you so much. Wow, that was an amazing session. So just quickly, I see that you also do multiple other different type of sessions. Just a quick, tell us what are the type of sessions, just the
okay. So I do a lot of regression therapy and hypnosis. So with regression therapy, generally this is, if somebody, say, has anxiety or sadness or guilt, I will use those emotions to work with. So I think, as I was saying before, some clients come to me saying they don't know what therapy they should have. And usually it's not a case of choosing the therapy. It's usually a case of discussing what it is that we're going to work on. And then we go into that. So there can be some psychotherapeutic techniques to understand it and open it out. And as that opens out, we can then it becomes obvious whether it's inner child work that's needed, whether it sits in a past life that needs to be resolved, or whether it's energy that's become attached that's not been able to shake off. Sometimes this can be in the form of a spirit attachment, or it can just be heavy, dark energy that they've been carrying. And this usually doesn't become apparent until we start doing the work, and then it unfolds. So the different modalities that I use just become apparent, and I use them as it seems apparent and needed, as it were, really. So it just has this general organic unfolding, really. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So again, to reiterate, my dear viewers, whatever type of issues that you're facing, for example, it could be anxiety, it could be money issues, or it could be health issues, whatever it is, if you are in this confusion of what modality would help you, what therapy should you go for, you can just have a conversation with him, and as he said, he is going to lead you to whichever direction it needs to go to. That's one of the amazing abilities that Leon has. Thank you so much. Leon, we are going to have his link posted in the comment box below. You can click the link. It should be either at the top or at the bottom. And as well as you also have a 10% off discount coupon code for your first booking with Leon. You can just tell him 0 point and he would be giving you a 10% off as a special bonus for watching this video with us. Thank you so much, Leon. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, my dear viewers, I'm going to see you in my next show. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do share and subscribe. The more we can take this video to the world, the more help we will be able to do to the world and to the people. So thank you so much for all your support. Bye-bye for now.